Good morning, friends. It is early and I am tired, but I need to get dinner going because it's going in the crock pot, so I don't have to worry about it today. But I wanted to show you guys one of my very favorite recipes, and since it's a crock pot meal, I gotta do it first thing in the morning, so sorry about the voice. It's a little deep in the morning. Alright, so this soup is one of my family's absolute favorites, and this is the perfect time of year to be making it. Honestly, I make it year-round, but especially in the fall, it's so nice. This is a green chili enchilada chicken soup. Oh, it's so good. It is so good. I normally do 3 large chicken breasts. You could probably add a 4th one in there. It's just going to be more chicken. You're also going to need 30 ounces of green enchilada sauce. It doesn't really matter what kind. I just grabbed this one from Target. It's just their mild enchilada sauce. This stuff is good. You're gonna need 32 ounces of chicken broth. It's just 1 carton of it. You're gonna need 1 cup of half and half, 2 cups of Monterey Jack cheese, 4 ounces of room temperature cream cheese. It really needs to be room temperature, otherwise it's not gonna melt into the soup properly. And you're gonna need 5 ounces of Salsa Verde. This is my favorite. Herdez is my favorite salsa brand ever. So good. And then you're gonna need salt to taste. My boys, just because this soup is a little bit thinner, even with the half and half and the cheese and sour cream, it still is a thinner soup, not quite as hearty. And so also to stretch it a little bit, I will make some basmati rice or Texmati or jasmine, whatever kind of white rice you want to make. And really it doesn't have to be white rice, but that's what we do. And I just will scoop some of that in a bowl and then pour the soup over it, and it just makes it a little bit heartier, and it stretches my soup a little bit farther so that we can use it for additional meals. And I'll tell you how I do that. And then I also will top mine normally with a little bit of sour cream, sometimes cilantro if I have it, and it's delicious. It's really, really good. So what I love about this recipe is that I just dump the enchilada sauce and the chicken broth and the chicken into the crock pot, and I just cook it on low for 6 to 8 hours. And then the last little steps are nothing. Like, it's super, super quick, super easy. And my boys really, really like it. If you guys haven't cooked with the green chili enchilada sauce, it is so good. Sometimes I'll add it to my rotel. It kind of tastes like Chewy's queso. I don't know if you guys have ever eaten at a Chewy's Mexican restaurant, but their queso is really good. If you go during happy hour, they have like an entire happy hour complimentary nacho bar, which this is all pre-COVID, so I don't know what's happened to the nacho bar since then, but it's incredible, and it is free. You get your drinks, and you get your nachos, and it is awesome. We don't have a Chewy's here, so I get my Chewy's fix when I go visit my brother in Dallas. It's really good. Put 3 little 10-ounce cans of the green chili enchilada sauce. And then my salsa, I only need 5 ounces of this, so I pulled out my trusty little measuring cup. And I'm gonna put the recipe to this, sorry, it's a terrible sound. I'm gonna put the recipe to this in the description below, so you guys will have it. So once you've poured your chicken broth in, put the lid on it. So now I'm gonna let this cook on low for 6 to 8 hours. Oh, by the way, right now would be a really awesome time for you to give it a thumbs up. Thanks. Okay, so while we're waiting for our soup to finish, I'm gonna do a little bonus thing here. This is one of my absolute favorite, really, I make it a lot of times when I'm making soup, but I find that I snack on these all the time. aside from having them with my soup. But I stopped by yesterday to grab a baguette for our dinner last night, and I always pick up an extra because I love to make the little toast rounds. They're so good with soup, but they're also really great like to spread boursin cheese, which is my favorite, or just to eat plain. They're really, really good. But what I do is I just take, like this is the leftover from last night, and I'll just slice it up and do olive oil. But I have a little secret, or not a secret, I have a special ingredient that I use for mine that is so good. You can normally get your bakery to slice your baguette for you. I don't, because we were using it for dinner and I didn't know exactly how much we would use. So I didn't want to pre-cut it. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of olive oil in each one, just so our herbs will stick to them and they'll get nice and golden. So now I'm just gonna take these dipping herbs and I'm just gonna sprinkle them out. Daily Bread Dipping Herbs by Agnes Day Farms. This is my absolute favorite product. I found this on the way to the beach. We stopped at a little place called Priester's Pecans and they had this there. They don't sell this there anymore, but that's okay because I always order it directly from them anyway. This is the best blend of herbs I've ever found. I use this with angel hair pasta. I'll just boil up some pasta, throw in some olive oil, some of this, and some fresh Parmesan, and it's amazing. I do it to make like a dipping herb, like with the olive oil, and sprinkle this into the olive oil and dip your bread in. I put it in my eggs. I put it on literally anything. Everything that I want to taste better, I put this stuff in it. It is fabulous. And the people are super sweet. They have really, really cool products. This is not an ad. I bought this with my own money. But fabulous. And when I buy this, like I give this to people for Christmas. I always have it in my cabinet and I always buy like 3 when I buy them. But they also have other products. So they have like lip balm and lotions and all these things from their farm. So you guys really, really need to check them out. Put a link to this company in the description below. Y'all need to go check them out. They're awesome. So these ended up taking a little bit longer than they normally do. I ended up cooking these for 14 minutes instead of the 10, but they are perfect. There it is. So good. Do you hear that crunch? These are so good. They're really, really good with soup, which is why I made them so we can have them tonight. I didn't make them so I could eat before the boys got home. I would never do that. It's now been 7 hours and it is time to do the final steps. I'm going to use my trusty tongs and I'm just going to remove the chicken from the crock pot and I'm just putting it on a plate because I'm going to, ooh, it's falling apart. I'm just going to shred it and put it back in just a second. The reason I take the chicken out and not leave it in there while I mix everything else in is that when you're stirring it all in and trying to blend everything together or mix everything together, you don't want that chicken in there because then it's going to just shred and just fall apart completely. And so I like some bigger pieces of chicken, so that's why I do all of my mixing. I take the chicken out, mix everything in it, and then I'll put the chicken back in there. Now I need to pour in 1 cup of half and half. I know, it's almost ready, okay? So what I'm actually going to do, before I pour in my half and half, I know, sweetie, I'm going to get you, it's almost time. So I'm going to put in the 4 ounces of the room temperature, keyword here, room temperature, cream cheese. And I'm gonna stir this up before I put the cream in because the cream is gonna cool it down a little bit And I need this super hot so it'll melt that cream cheese. A lot of times what I do is just kind of smash it. I know, baby, dinner's almost ready. So I'm actually going to use a whisk and just kind of whisk this up a little bit, kind of get it all incorporated. Now we're going to put in 2 cups of Monterey Jack cheese. I'm going to switch back to my spoon for this one. And then I'm going to pour in 1 cup of half and half. Now it seems like this soup might be thick, but it really isn't. It's a fairly thin, although it has that creamy taste, it's not like a real rich, heavy soup, which is why I like to serve it over a little bit of rice. Just gonna pinch it apart and just throw some big old chunks back in there. All right, so at this point, it's just a matter of warming it back up just a little bit. It does not take long at all. So at this point, I would go ahead and start making your rice. So give this about 15 minutes to kind of let everything melt and incorporate. And then really, it's just a matter of adding a little bit of salt and pepper. So we're gonna let this sit for about 15 minutes, let everything kind of come together. Then I'm going to serve this over rice. I'll show you how I plate that up, but I also want to tell you how I extend this to make an additional meal. Okay, since this is just really to kind of stretch the soup out a little bit and to make it a little bit heartier, I didn't want to make a huge thing of rice. So I just used one of the little frozen packs of the basmati rice from Trader Joe's. And I love it. This is 3 minutes and the rice is done, as opposed to 15 minutes. And then, you know, you end up with a whole bunch of rice that you don't actually need. A little bit of rice. And then a big old scoop of this soup. Ho, 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 ho. Extra broth. This is the best soup. It's so good. Here it is. Mmm. I really wish I could smell it. You smell it?
I smell it.
Can you smell it? Oh, it's so good. So sometimes I'll serve it with a little dollop of sour cream and then some cilantro, or you could do some onion, whatever floats your boat. I think tonight I'm just going pure. Just going straight for the soup. And look. Oh my gosh. Mmm. It's so good. Oh, it's so good. You guys have to try this. Now, I told you I'd tell you how to extend this. It's super easy. If there are leftovers, there may not be. Sometimes you can double the batch so that you guarantee there are leftovers. But one thing I'll do is I'll add a little cornstarch and it'll thicken up the broth so it becomes more like a sauce with the chicken. And then you serve it over rice that way and it becomes, it's like a whole different meal. And if you thicken it up, you could also put this into corn tortillas and wrap it up. It could be the stuffing for chicken enchiladas. There's so many possibilities. Mmm. It's so good. You guys go try this. Now. So good. Okay. Well, if you try it, let me know how you like it. I'll see y'all later. Bye. By the way, if you guys haven't had a chance to do this yet, subscribe. So I just wanted to show you guys, I just ordered from Agnes Day Farm, and they give you, I got a little bookmark, a little St. John the Baptist bookmark, And then this time they included gourd seeds and loofah seeds, which is very cool. They always give you some sort of little happy, which I really like. And what I ordered was, I actually ordered, I think 10, maybe 11 things of the daily bread dipping herbs. Now, another thing that I put this on that I forgot to tell you guys about is I put this on my hummus. So I'll drizzle a little bit of olive oil and then shake this onto my hummus. So I've got a whole box of this. There's just a ton in here. These are the little herb seasonings that Mommy likes. I got a bunch of them to give as Christmas gifts this year. I got 11 jars of this, and I'm just gonna wrap them up. You know, these are maybe $9.99 a piece, so it's a great price for a little gift, and it's not something that you can get locally, so, you know, it's fun. All right, well, we're gonna play with these. You like the shake? Are you making sure it's nice and shaken up? Shake it up.